Today on The Now, in our lineup, we're taking a look at a heinous crime that goes underreported. We're talking about older adult abuse, what you need to look for with your family, plus this.
It's increased, absolutely. You see $400 or $500 increase at least in what I looked at.
Sticker shock on appliances because of tariffs, the group that may be hit the hardest. And older workers are holding off on retirement in certain places. The location's making it harder for them to leave their jobs, and what companies are offering now to attract more seniors.
I'm Amanda Starantino for The Now ND. More protests against Fair Oaks Farms today after new video is released by an animal welfare group showing more abuse to cows at another location of the agritourism business. The Animal Recovery Mission, or ARM, released video earlier this month showing abuse to calves at a Fair Oaks Farms location up in Newton County. Now today, new undercover video from a second farm owned and operated by Fair Oaks shows employees beating cows onto the milking line and snapping their tails when they refuse to move. We won't show the video due to its graphic nature. We are still waiting for a response from Fair Oaks Farms today. And a plan to expand the Johnson County Jail in Franklin will be costly to residents. The County Council has preliminarily approved a 20% increase in the county income tax to fund the project that will cost up to $25 million. A final vote is likely at a June 21st public hearing, and the additional tax will be collected starting in October. Overcrowding at the existing jail has been an issue for years, and Johnson County is under a state mandate to do something about it. And the Marion County Sheriff's Office is looking for this woman today. This is Brittany Howell. The 29-year-old woman escaped from a deputy on Tuesday while she was being transported to a work release program for women. The Sheriff's Department says Howell was arrested last month for driving with a suspended license. She was last seen running out of the lobby of Crane House while still in handcuffs. Deputy Robert Anderson was in charge of transporting Howell. He has been placed on leave while an internal investigation continues. A suspect is in custody after leading police on a chase across the city overnight before crashing into an apartment complex playground. The chase started when police tried to pull over a driver for a routine traffic stop at 86th and Michigan on the north side. The driver took off and weaved across town to the west side. At one point, officers tried to do a pit maneuver to stop the driver, but instead he crashed into an IMPD cruiser. The officer is expected to be okay despite that crash. Eventually, the driver turned into an apartment complex near 38th and Lafayette. After crashing into the playground and getting out of the car, he was apprehended by a canine officer. Kyle.
And we are halfway through the week. Really a pretty nice Wednesday here across central Indiana. But you notice on the Weather Now camera network, we're starting to see more clouds around, and those clouds signs of a change that's going to be coming our way. Satellite and radar. You can see a little bit of green showing up over central Indiana. None of that making it to the ground. We get back into Illinois, though, and you can see that rain increasing in coverage. It's moving, though, toward the north and northeast, so it's still going to take a little bit of time before it makes it here into the Hoosier State. Right now, our temperature 75 degrees downtown, 76 for you in Kokomo, and Bloomington at 74. A pretty light southwest wind out there for us this evening, and that will continue through the next several hours. Our temperatures into the middle and upper 60s for you by 9 o'clock with a spotty shower through the 10 o'clock hour. Those rain chances going up tonight, and look back to the west. Temperatures barely to 60 degrees in Chicago. We've got some cooler air on the way. More on that in a few minutes. Chris.
Mexican National Guard forces are starting to deploy to Mexico's southern border today. It's part of the new migration deal the country signed with the U.S. last week. The 6,000 National Guard members, they'll be working to control the flow of people coming in from Central America. Don't expect fewer cancellations related to Boeing 737 MAX in the near future. The fleet, it's been grounded since March after 2 deadly crashes, and the FAA says it has no timetable for allowing that plane to fly again. The agency is stressing that the aircraft will only fly when it's safe, and sources are telling Reuters that Boeing isn't expected to submit its formal software fix to the FAA this week. That software has been blamed for causing those crashes. Well, if you're booking flights for vacations, don't fall for this one. The Better Business Bureau says third-party websites are pretending to book flights, then cancel the reservation after they charge you. Now, the websites look legit, the deals look good, but they're probably companies you've never heard of. You do pay with a credit card like normal, then you might get a call to verify your information. There's your red flag. The BBB says a legitimate company would not call you. Ford is recalling more than 1 million Explorer SUVs today to fix an issue with the rear suspension. The issue impacts 2011 through 2017 models. The rear suspension toe link can break off if the suspension moves a lot, and that can impact your steering. So far, no one's been hurt because of this, and you can take your car to a Ford dealer for a free fix. Also, speaking of Ford, the company's recalling 123,000 2013 F-150 pickups again. A software update to stop the truck's transmission from unintentionally downshifting did not work. All right, let's start the news feed with a development in the battle over putting a citizenship question on the census. The Justice Department says President Trump's using executive privilege to block Congress from seeing documents about why the question was added. Critics say that question will lead to an inaccurate count because some people will choose not to participate. A second arrest in the shooting of former Red Sox star David Ortiz. Dominican authorities have not said what this suspect's role was in the attack, but today Ortiz's wife says her husband is now alert in a Boston hospital. Donald Trump Jr. on Capitol Hill today for a second closed-door meeting with the Senate Intel Committee. Senators looking into answers that he gave Congress in 2017. Lawmakers also pushing for more details on the Trump Tower meeting with Russians before the 2016 election. All right, let's get back to our lineup here. And senior abuse is a serious problem that goes underreported, but we have what you need to look out for with your family.
Champion today.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. A new partnership in Indiana is aiming to help protect and educate elderly people about abuse, scams, and financial exploitation. It's called the Indiana Council Against Senior Exploitation, or InCase. Now, the goal of InCase is to educate seniors about types of abuse and exploitation and risk factors and red flags to look for so they can avoid being taken advantage of. Every year, seniors in America lose more than $36 billion to financial exploitation, abuse, and scams. By the year 2030, it's estimated that 1 in 5 Hoosiers will be over the age of 65, creating a growing marketplace for people looking to take advantage of vulnerable adults. And with an increasing senior population in our state, InCase is a one-stop shop for resources that can help them stay safe and prevent becoming a victim of all types of fraud. The resources are also aimed at caregivers and family members to educate them on what to look for when it comes to signs of elder abuse. If you'd like to get involved or learn more about InCase, we have details on the RTV6 app in this story.
There may be more cases of elder abuse than we recognize. Today, 2 new government studies show many incidents aren't reported to law enforcement, even when the abuse is so bad it requires medical attention. An Office of Inspector General study found that even when cases were reported in nursing homes, state inspectors were confused about whether they should report it to police, some saying they only called law enforcement in, quote, the most serious abuse cases. Now, another study looked at the elderly not living in nursing homes. In that case, researchers found of 30,000 potential abuse cases, healthcare providers failed to report a third. Senior care experts say you want to make sure that you check on your elderly relatives regularly. Not only will this help them feel more comfortable with you and trust you, you'll be able to notice any signals of abuse. Now, some signs can be physical, looking for things like new illnesses, injuries, or wounds, but also how a person acts is very important. Anxious reactions, even PTSD if they've never experienced it before. So if you suspect they're in immediate danger, obviously the first thing you want to do, call 911. But after that, you want to contact Adult Protective Services and an investigator who specializes in long-term care if they do live in a nursing home. A new tool rolling out on Facebook today, and it alerts users when a blood bank near you needs donations. In countries where Facebook tested this program, 20% of users said they were influenced to donate blood. Now, this is not available everywhere just yet, but Facebook does plan to roll it out nationwide in the next few months. You will need to opt in. Now, at any given time, the U.S. should have about 30,000 pints of blood readily available, but that's not always the case. The Red Cross reports that only 3% of people who have the ability to donate blood actually do it. And now that it is summer, people are busy, many forget about donating. So the Red Cross wants to remind people that there is always a need, not just during tragic situations. Let's get back to our lineup here on the Now. And more older workers are holding off on retirement in certain places. The location's making it harder for them to leave their jobs, and what companies are offering to attract seniors. You have heard plenty about tariffs and trade wars, but let's face it, one of those terms that you hear so much about actually have an impact on your life. Annie Taylor's taking a look at how if you're looking to buy new appliances, that tariff talk is becoming real.
Brian Thomas just bought a new washing machine.
I found it a little stressful.
He spent some time searching for a good deal and found one.
Phenomenal. No one gets those kind of deals.
He's lucky. Most Americans are facing sticker shock because of tariffs.
It's increased, absolutely. You see $400 or $500 increase at least in what I looked at.
Appliances will be hit particularly hard. Mexico exported $9.5 billion worth of appliances to the U.S. last year. At that time, the Trump administration hit them with a 25% tariff on some of the imported goods. So while they play economic hardball, it's you and I who end up paying more for everyday items made overseas. That means consumers were paying roughly $90 for every washer and dryer. Economics professor Alexander Padilla is concerned the tariff will hurt the little guy.
So the people that are mostly hurt or harmed by those tariffs actually on the lower side of incomes.
Tariff supporters say they keep jobs in the U.S.
Should we penalize 10 million people to save $100,000 job? That's the question.
As long as there are tariffs on raw materials for things like appliances, that means Americans spend more and save less. For Brian, he's just glad he found a good deal on his washer and dryer.
It makes it really hard to predict as a homeowner what other expenses on other appliances that I have that I will have to pay for, and I have no idea how to forecast or budget for that.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
Annie, thank you. And just a reminder that Father's Day is this Sunday, and being a dad is a lot of work. And a new study showing the impact criticizing dad's parenting styles can have. A University of Michigan Children's Hospital survey found that more than half of dads feel they're judged harshly. Men say they were dad shamed over things like how they disciplined their kids, what they fed their kids, for not paying enough attention to their kids, maybe being too rough. Survey says that led to men feeling less motivated to take on parenting duties that are so important for the relationship with their kids. So the Ad Council and Responsible Fatherhood is rolling out new reminders for dads. Now that campaign you're looking at right there, Dance Like a Dad, it's about reminding fathers just how important they are. Now children who feel close to their dads, according to studies, they do better in school, they do better socially, they have better self-esteem. Fathers Incorporated is a group that advocates for dads to be more involved in their kids' lives. And the head of that group points to the time that his son said hearing him at a basketball game made a huge impact.
What it said to me was that he hears my voice. He heard my voice in the midst of other parents yelling at their children at the same time. But it also said to me that he was in tune with me. And the reason that he's in tune with me is because I spend such a large amount of time with him just in intimate conversations and talking.
Fatherhood.gov is loaded with resources for dads about building healthy relationships with children. And another unique challenge for dad, it's the lack of changing stations in men's bathrooms. So take a look at this video here. Pampers sharing this video of dads just going to great lengths just to change their kids' diapers. The company is pledging to install 5,000 changing tables in the U.S. and Canada.
It looks real, but don't worry. This was all a drill today at the Indianapolis International Airport in efforts to keep you safe in the future. Emergency crews conducted a major training exercise complete with the fire and victim response procedures. If you were in Concourse B today, you may have seen all of this going on. This all meant to evaluate the airport's emergency operation plans to make sure they are meeting needs. And tomorrow is the big day for strawberry fans in the Circle City. It's the Christchurch Cathedral Strawberry Festival. This year marks 54 years for that event. Tens of thousands of shortcakes will be baked and ready to go, with hundreds of volunteers coming to help serve strawberries, ice cream, and the homemade shortcakes. The festival happens on Monument Circle from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thursday or until supplies last. And we'll be honest with you, they do not usually last until 4. And don't forget to go by the ATM because this is a cash-only event. I can promise you'll probably see Mark Mullins there, Todd Clausen, Kyle.
Yeah,
maybe.
we got to get some
Kevin
strawberries.
was just putting his arms in the air. He's excited.
Everybody looks forward to the Strawberry Festival here, and tomorrow I think we'll be in pretty good shape. It is going to be cool, but I think that the rain chances are pretty minimal as we get ready for Monument Circle. Looking down over the Circle City this evening, nice and quiet. 75 degrees in Indianapolis, the hot spot. Muncie, you're coming in at 80, 74 in Bloomington. Dry on Storm Team 6 radar in central Indiana. The rain is not too far away, and as we go through the next few hours, by 8:30 tonight, you start to see a little more of that light green showing up. Still, I think it's going to be pretty spotty. As we go through the overnight, we'll see a little more in the way of some widespread rain by 9 a.m. tomorrow. Once again, it's kind of hit and miss showers. We'll have the clouds around. A few more of those will be pinwheeling their way through as we head into our Thursday afternoon. But really the bigger impact here going to be on temperatures. This is our forecast high for tomorrow, 65 degrees. We should be in the lower 80s. So it's nearly the middle of June. It's going to feel more like the middle of April tomorrow. And adding to that chill, we're going to have that northwest breeze around 20 miles per hour, some gusts around 30 miles per hour. At least we'll get some sunshine in here during the afternoon. And by Friday morning, you're going to need to break that jacket back out and maybe turn the heat on in the car. We're going to have temperatures starting off our Friday in the mid to upper 40s. Next 4 days of your forecast, though, we do improve things pretty quickly on Friday with mostly sunny skies. We're back into the middle 70s for a high there. Close to 80 for the weekend. Chance for some showers and storms on Saturday, becoming a little more widespread on Sunday. Chris.
Let's start the news feed. New bill could give gun violence victims more power in the courtroom. House and Senate Democrats introduced a bill that would eliminate protections that block gun and ammo makers from being sued if a gun's used unlawfully or in a crime. Well, this California police officer under arrest after police say he was tricked by a Snapchat filter. San Mateo officer Robert Davies exchanged sexual messages online with a person that he thought was an underage 16-year-old girl. Turns out it was a 20-year-old man using a Snapchat filter that makes you look like a girl. The 20-year-old reported Davies, who was arrested. Well, scientists say there's a mysterious blob under the moon's surface, and they say it's right under the moon's largest crater. Now, at this point, they think it's part of an asteroid that hit the moon billions of years ago. Scientists think that blob could provide information about how the moon and the Earth were formed. Older workers in bigger cities are more likely to work past retirement age. That's according to new research. Experts say demand and necessity are both factors, and Corey Rangel with a look at what some companies are doing to attract seniors to the workforce.
This is Bernard Johnson from My Active Senior.
Bernard Johnson is well past retirement age, but has a sales job in D.C. where he works about 35 hours a week.
It allows me a lot of flexibility. I'm my own boss. I'm working strictly on a commission basis, which I control my own income.
Bernard is part of the so-called silver tsunami. More seniors are staying in the workforce longer, especially in larger cities, because they're living longer and healthier lives, which for some can cause concern they'll run out of money, and for others, they don't want to get bored.
I enjoy working, and it also enhances my lifestyle.
According to government figures, between 2014 and 2024, the number of workers aged 65 to 74 will jump 55%, and those 75 and older will rise 86%. Nora Super works for the Center for the Future of Aging with the Milken Institute and says companies don't want to lose the experience older workers bring.
When they walk out of the door, they tend to take many, many years of experience that is really hard to replace right away.
More than 1,000 employers have signed AARP's pledge to support equal opportunities for workers regardless of age. And more of those companies are starting to offer incentives and more flexibility to get older workers to stay.
Because of their experience and what they have to offer, especially in mentoring and managing teams, companies are willing to make that exchange and say, you don't have to work as much or as often or to come into the office.
In Washington, D.C., I'm Corey Rangel reporting.
Corey, thank you. And a final check of our lineup today. We're seeing more house flipping than we have in years. Now new people are coming into the business, the side gig workers getting recruited for this.